Hey guys, today I'm making a recap video on a few plays that I made today and also 3 other plays that AJ had on his notes. I get the notes from awesomecallstrading.com, ACT from AJTrader7 on Twitter. That's where the notes come from. So the notes that I was looking at and drew lines for were Roku, MRNA, Tesla, BNTX, and W, which is Wayfair. I personally ended up playing Roku, Tesla, and Hood. I really wanted to play MRNA and Wayfair, and they were both 30 to 40 point runners, and I missed it because I got trapped in this Roku trade that I entered too early on. So I'm going to go over all that one at a time. Just the 3 plays that I didn't do was MRNA, BNTX, and W. So I'm going to put them on the screen. So for MRNA, it said stock gapping down 25 points. Do not long unless pop at the open to 410. Then look for solid 7 to 11 point push to the upside or more. Then watch for topping. If this snaps 395 at the open, look for nice 10 to 15 point sell off on it. Then watch for bottom curl bounce on it. So Myrna's down here. You know, I have the green line to enter calls. I have it set at 410 where he said, you know, if it broke 410, I missed this play because I was in the Roku trade. And like it happened right away. If I zoom in, you know, it broke it right away. 831, 832, 833. How much confirmation do you need? You could have entered it right here, but that was exactly at the time that I was in Roku, so I couldn't enter. I didn't want to get into 2 plays at once. So I missed out on that because look, AJ's first price target was at 417, max price target 421. So look what it hit, 443. So if you're buying 410 calls and like you end up holding this thing to 443, 443 minus 410 is 33 points, you know, when delta's 0.5. I mean, that's a $16,500 potential profit if you had bought 10 contracts. You know, from 410 with 410 calls all the way to 444, almost 443.99. So yeah, missed out on that one. Really good play and good call by AJ. You know, he gives conservative price estimates, so like if the thing really pops, I mean, you just can capture more gains, you know. This right here was already enough, like from 410 to his calls all the way up to 421. I mean, that's 11 points, which is like a $5,500 potential profit on 10 contracts. So the money was there. I missed that play, and I'm sad about it. The next one that I also didn't play was BNTX. For that one, he said BNTX gapping down on MRNA results, gapping down 20 points. Do not long unless pop at the open to 405. Then look for quick 5 to 10 point push to the upside. Then watch for topping. If this snaps 385, look for nice 5 to 10 point sell off. Then bottom curl it and slow move to the upside. So this one was a good play to enter calls, right? So I noticed, you know, like he said to enter puts right here at 385. You know, it never broke that line, so he kind of just even saves you from entering the puts. If you hastily entered right here, you definitely could have gotten burned, you know. But hopefully you waited for confirmation. You saw that it was never the play. The calls, though, you know, at 839, 840, you could have entered around there. You know, he said if it breaks 405, so you could have bought 405 calls, you know, it could hit max 415, first price target at 410. So I mean, that's 5 to 10 points, you know. On 10 points, that's 5,000 potential profit on 10 contracts from here to here. So I mean, he nailed that call on BNTX as well. And then moving on to the last one that I really wish I would have played this one as well. W, which is Wayfair. Earnings mixed, flat, do not long unless pop at the open to 258. Then look for nice quick 7 to 12 point push to the upside. Then watch for topping. If this snaps 246, look for a nice 10 to 12 point sell off. Then watch for bottom curl bounce. So on W in the morning, I mean, as you can see, puts were not in play. It was calls that you would have entered. And again, I missed this one because I was in Roku. Wish I could have got out of that in time. But it broke that line at 8:31, so you could have entered right there. And I mean, you had many chances to enter, but like honestly, like I'm not entering. Like yeah, it ran really high, but like I'm not gonna be entering at AJ's first price target. I'm not gonna chase it. Definitely not entering on AJ's like max price target line. Yeah, you're right. At 269, if you entered and you just could predict that it went to 285, you could have made profit, but I'm just not risking that. So I'm only going to risk buying the calls whenever it breaks his line within a point. You know, like if I can catch it right here, I'll buy it. But if not, then I just missed the play. And that's exactly when I was in Roku. So I missed that play. And for that, you know, he said enter 258 calls. And it went, you know, his price target was at 270. So you got a 12 points, which is 6,000 potential profit for AJ's max price target. But it went to 285. And, you know, if you're at 258, that's 27 points. You know, divide that by 2, you're at 13,500 potential profit when your delta is 0.5, which it always is when you buy in the money calls. You would have bought 260 calls right here at 258. It would have been $2 in the money, but then it's okay. You know, like obviously look what happened. So that was W. And those were the 3 I didn't play. And then for the ones I did play, I played Hood, which I highly regret. You know, it didn't really play out. Like AJ said, you know, if it snaps 62 to enter, which I did, and it just didn't play out until later, you know, like 11:15 it snapped it and then really started to fall and show that real downtrend, but they just kind of yanked it up and down all day until, you know, lunchtime. So it's like I'm not really waiting that long. Yeah, if you were patient, you could have really entered definitely when it broke. You saw it jump, and like it already broke at 10:41 for entry, like true entry. But then it bounced right here. I mean, you saw it bounce and then get rejected. It didn't even really touch VWAP, but it bounced, and that's really when it started to fall. And you could have captured. I mean, you know, end of market it was at 51, but that play didn't happen until 11:22. You would have told it for 3 hours, but you would have entered at 61 and it's 51. So that's, you know, AJ's play did play out on that, but it was a later play. You know, it ended at 51. You could have entered, you know, at 62. This other purple line is VWAP, you know, so it was like bouncing off VWAP, and AJ's line was coincidentally right around there. And obviously it fell off, but at that time VWAP was around his line. So yeah, that was a 10-point play, but I didn't get that because I entered for Hood a lot earlier than that. But for the recap for that, it says another day of fun. Think this runs today, might be mindful. Stock gapping down 5 points. Do not long unless pop at the open with volume to 68. Then look for a nice solid 5 to 10 points or more run on it. If this snaps 62 at the open, watch for a 5 to 7 point flush down on it. Then watch for bottom curl bounce. Stock is not dead yet, so don't think it is. You know, this one, he thought it could run, but it didn't run. He's right like 95% of the time though, and he was still right for the puts play, that if it did break this line, you know, but look, the call line right here to enter was 68. So, you know, he saved you. He never said to enter until 68. So it never hit that. You know, it only hit a high of 66, 2 points under. So you knew that it was never going to play out. So But for me, I only made very little profit today. Like, I just did the examples for 10 contracts. I played 5 today. I played smaller size, and I only got 50 profit on 10 contracts, so it only been 25 profit on 5. So I barely made any money. But it's mainly because I just tried to get out. It just wasn't working out. It was moving really slow, and I just didn't want anything to do with it. I don't like really getting trapped that long in trades without a move with momentum and volume. So that one, I bought him for 1040 at 850, and let's see what it was doing at that time. Right here. So look, I was just following AJ's, notes. I could have definitely held it and made a little more money. Like, I could have definitely made some money, but I didn't hold it. Because right here, 850, I sold it at 853 right here. But look, so had I withheld it and been down on this and just held it and held it and held it, it did make a move down. But so you're saying, why'd you sell it? Well, it wasn't moving much. I guess I should have kept it a little bit, thinking back, but honestly, I didn't feel like going through all this. I had puts. Look at this, AO is green. It looked like it was trending up. I was out. Like, if AO kept building red right here, I would have stayed in the trade, but I guess it just kind of, look, it did build more red, but then it flipped to green. So I say that, but it did flip to green right here and pushed up, and I would have been negative, and I wasn't trying to do all that. So I only captured 25 profit. That's like 50 profit on 10. And with that buying power, that's like pretty much breaking even. So yeah, that was the worst trade of the day, but at least I didn't lose money. And then I played Roku first. So I'm going to pull up Roku. To be honest, the trades didn't really go well today. I had bad fills, and I had a bad entry because I jumped the gun on Roku, and then I missed W and MRNA. So I'm still happy with the profit that I did make today, though. Out of those 3 trades, I'd made 331. That would have been 662 on 10 contracts. I just played 5 for each, but I'll take the 331. And then, you know what? I ended up playing 2 more day trades, got to 370, then 410. And I was just playing 1 contract at that time just because I still wanted to trade a little bit. But then on my last day trade, I got all the way up to 410. I ended up giving back like $120, and I had traded neg 1 time already for like 35, 40 profit. So I lost 85 overall in neg and ended the day at plus 285. Like I said in the prior video, I was up 331 in 22 minutes. I ended the day at plus 285. So I don't think I overtraded, but it was just a trade that didn't go my way. I traded neg with AJ on the first one. He won, I won. Sean traded with me on that. He won too on the first one, but the second one pulled on us. It yanked, and we lost on that one. It broke VWAP, and we lost. So, but I'll take the 285 still. But anyways, on to the last 2 plays. For Roku, it says stock gapping down 43 points. Do not long unless pop at the open to 389. Clear that, then look for nice 5 to 10 point short cover pop. Then watch for topping. If this snaps 384 at the open, look for a nice 10 to 12 point sell off. Quick, then solid bounce, then top off, then all day fader on it. So for this one, I'm looking at the morning bell at what it's going to do. And this is where I bought it. Like, it was a really bad time to buy it if you look at this chart. Like, look what it does. But I'm going to tell you why I ended up staying in it. Let's see. So as you can see here, I bought it for 809, which is an absolute, like, just the worst fill ever. So I already got a bad fill on that at 831.42. So right here, see, boom, like it broke his line. It was all the way down here by the put line. It broke his line. This is what I mean by being hasty. You know, the fact that I didn't sell it at a loss, I'm really glad I didn't. But Mark Moses doesn't even buy it at 8:30, 8:31. He waits till at least 2 minutes, 8:31, 8:32, and this is why, because this is what can happen. Like this is a 1 minute candlestick. It's only printing the last second of what it looks like. You're not seeing this momentum volume buildup. So, I'm seeing this solid green fill up and it breaks this. And like, I don't know. I just guess I jumped the gun. It did break, but it needs to confirm and break. And I've talked about in that past videos, in this candle, it should have at least opened at a higher high and broke it, or at least opened higher, And so of course I get a horrible fill. And now I'm down. And even though I played 5, I was down $1,000 at one point after this, because look, after this, I'm like, oh no, it opened below it. I was hoping for it to open right here. It opened below the green line, but this is what kept me in and not selling it into fear. So, like I bought it on this candlestick, see what it looks like. And you see how AO right here, the awesome oscillator is thinning. And it wants to flip to the upside. And so as I saw this thinning and wanting to flip right here, it flips the first green bar on the horizontal line, the red line right here. It's on the first upside right here, And so luckily, 831 bought it, 837 sold it. So, I mean, look at the AO. Like, this is a trade that went south for me, And instead of like hedging and doing all that and doubling down, like you can't do that in the first minute in. Like that would just be crazy with the momentum and volume that's rolled in, 219,000 in that first minute. So I wasn't doing all that. I was just kind of looking at my indicators at that point. So, I saw it start to drop, but at the same time, AO kept thinning. And look what happened. So like at this point, I'm down like 300, then I'm down 700, then right here I'm down like 1,000, and only on 5 contracts. So if I had 10 contracts, like I usually do, like really glad I didn't play 10 on this or today, I would have been down $2,000 right here on 10 contracts, right? But it flipped. Like I saw this and I saw it flip to the upside, so I kept it. And look what it does on the next candle. It skyrockets. And honestly, like if you were smart, you would have been patient, not bought it when I bought it right here. Wait 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes. On the 5th minute, you see this build up, bounce off AJ's put line right here to enter puts. And then you see it build up. And then right here, you could have also been hasty, but would have got a good entry. But right here on this candle, you see how it opens above AJ's line. So it kind of confirms the break. So safest entry, if you could like play it over, would really to just buy in after you see it open above AJ's green line. And look what AO does. Downside, downside, downside for 3 minutes. It flips upside. 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, like, so this is when you enter calls and you see this trend, like that looks good. Like I bought it right here and it was green. So I saw that it was green. I was like, oh, it's looking good. And it did trend up, but look what it does before the move up. And, like I was down $1,000. So like I sold out of fear. But in honesty, I should have kept it. Like this 388 to his 398, that was a 10-point move right there. Could have made $5,000 on 10 contracts, or at least $2,500 on potential profit. But honestly, I was down $1,000 after all this. And so whenever I saw this push up and I saw 155 profit on 5 contracts, it would have been 300 on 10. I sold it right here on this candle at 8:37.03. So like at the opening of this candle, like right here, as soon as I saw that break that line, I mean, honestly, I could have, if I wanted to play heavier size and I saw this build up, could have averaged down, bought more, and then really played a good move. But I'm gonna be honest, I got shaken out after being down. I saw profit, I took it. I didn't know what it was gonna do. even though all this looked good. I was trying to get out at that point. So that's what happened for Roku. Like, could have been a nice, 10-point play right there. But look, at the end of the day, I'm still happy that I didn't lose money, because it's way easier to lose money than make money. And for me to pull out, on 10 contracts, even with a bad fill, I would have been able to get 310 on 10 contracts. I played 5, so I got half of that. I'm happy, and you should be too, because the base hits add up. And if you try to rush it or you're hasty, this is what the market makers do to you. They make you pay for it. They probably shook out so many people right here, but luckily I was looking at other indicators that kept me in the trade. And they still shook me out. Like, I didn't get this big gain. I had those contracts, But anyways, for the last one, let's see, Roku and then Tesla. So Tesla was my last day trade for that morning bell momentum and volume. I took it at 840. So right here at 840, I mean, this was pretty choppy today. Yeah, right here. It broke it many times. Like, this is the call line, this is a put line, and I played puts. But anyways, the description, or his notes say, Tesla, another day of fun, gapping up 6 points. Do not long unless pop at the open to 719. Then look for nice 4 to 7 point push to the upside. If this snaps 715, look for a nice 5 to 8 point flush down, then bottom curl it, slow move to the upside. So Tesla wasn't giving you much today. I really wanted to stay in those channels. You really could have just short scalped it. And that's what I did. I wasn't trying to get much. So Tesla right here, it says I bought it at 840 right here. So like, I had some serious good confirmation on this, and I didn't really net much profit because they yanked it back up and down, and it just, the range wasn't there, but it was enough for me to squeeze out a little bit. Like, I had the confirmations on my side. AJ said if it breaks 715, I can enter puts. Right, so at 840, look what it does. Right here, it was already breaking it at 839. At 840, it was breaking it, and look how far it fell. Like it was already breaking it at 715 and went all the way to 713. So this is a 2-point candle, and then on this candle, the next minute, 714 all the way to 713. Right here, it hit 711. So they weren't giving you much today, but it was enough for me to just get something. Right, so Tesla, I entered right here, and look, so for the confirmation for me, I was like, at 840 right here, it broke it, it confirmed. I didn't hastily buy it like I did with Roku to trade prior from this. So I waited for confirmation. Look what AO does. It was upside right here, and then it flipped downside more red. So that's kind of the trend. I'm like, if I'm playing puts and it's upside right here and then it's flipping downside, that's just the trend that I want to see, it pinch to the downside. So that was just extra confirmation. And it broke AJ's line. So I just played it. It wasn't much, but it did fall 2 points, which is on 10 contracts, up to like, 1,000 potential profit if you could have captured, a good entry right here and sold it at the bottom. But I wasn't trying to do all that. On 10 contracts, I would have got 302 profit in 17 seconds, but I played 5 contracts, so I got 151 on 5 contracts. I bought them for 855 and I sold them for 885 at 840.02 to 840.19. So like, I was just trying to get in and out and just try to get something at 840.02. So like, literally right here, I bought it. And then like right here, and look, like right where the part that it filled, that's where I sold it. And I could have captured definitely way more in this next minute. and waited out this whole minute, but this candle wasn't looking good. And AO was trending down though right here, you know, so, but you just never know, because look, even though it keeps trending down right here, the market makers will do whatever they want, and this isn't always right, but I feel like it's more right than wrong. So that's why I did that. And it was a small gain, you know, would have been 302 on 10 contracts, but it's only 17 seconds. So even though it's small, it happens quick and then you're out. So 331 in 3 trades, 22 minutes, and I only played 5 contracts on each of these. So could have made 662 if I played 10. So, but I wanted to play small size today, and at least just make sure I confidently could execute these trades. But that's my recap. Let me know what you think, and hope you're enjoying the content.